Okay, so today is January 20th, 2022. On this video here, I want to talk to you about some things to look for in a vacuum cleaner, what options are available, and what I recommend. Now, first of all, I'm going to say this is all just personal preference, but this is the first thing that I will recommend. If you notice, all of my vacuum cleaners that I'm showing here today, they all take bags. And bagless vacuum cleaners are very popular, but you know, there is, in my opinion, there is a reason that there are still quite a bit of bagged vacuum cleaners out there. To me, a bagless vacuum cleaner is just more of an inconvenience and more maintenance, more time involved, more cost involved too. The filters for a bagless vacuum cleaner are going to cost you a lot more than a package of bags will. And I just think about it like a furnace filter. You know, you change your furnace filter every few months to, get rid of the dust and everything. Well, it's the same thing. The bag is your filter. So all the vacuum cleaners that I'm going to be showing you today are bagged. I do not own a bagless vacuum cleaner. I have several vacuum cleaners, and every single one of them is bagged. I have used bagless vacuum cleaners in the past. They have their advantages, but I've figured out that a bagged vacuum cleaner is far easier to maintain than a bagless vacuum cleaner, and they're a lot cheaper to maintain. And the second thing I will say is when you're looking for a vacuum cleaner, first of all, you want to make sure that whatever vacuum cleaner that you're looking at, you can find parts for it easily and they're readily available. In my opinion, there's no point in having a vacuum cleaner that you can't get parts for or supplies for, because what good is that going to do you, You just want to make sure that you can find things. Now, the first thing is, they don't sell this model anymore. This is a Hoover wind tunnel. But it's a really good, basic, all around good general upright vacuum cleaner. There's also canister vacuum cleaners, which is this yellow one here. Most canister vacuum cleaners are going to be straight suction only, and they're more designed for hard floors and above the floor cleaning. So if you have mostly hard floors, those are probably going to be okay for you. I will say, if you have mostly carpeting, uprights are definitely a better option. There's these, which are just the good old standard. They've got, tools on board and everything. You can pull the hose off to do furniture, steps, all that stuff. Oh, and the other thing about the bagged vacuum cleaners, I've noticed that the bagged vacuum cleaners tend to last a lot longer. Um, it's just typically how it is. It keeps more of the stuff out of the motor. It keeps the machine cleaner, which in turn extends the life of the vacuum cleaner. So having the bags is definitely an advantage. Now, I have the bags for each of these machines out in front of it. Now, the one thing that you want to see is how common the bags are. Now, for this Hoover wind tunnel right here, this takes very common bags. Takes Hoover Y bags, and you can get them generic, genuine, whichever, and they work pretty well. And you only have to change the bags, like, I would say once every 2 or 3 months. The bags should last no less than a month, but in my house they last anywhere from 3 to 6 months. So it just depends. The next one is the Auric. Now, these have been around forever. I'm sure you've seen them advertised for years. They're the 8-pound lightweight vacuum cleaner. And they are very lightweight. They're very nice, very easy to use. If you are somebody who is disabled, elderly, just any kind of disability that limits how much you can lift or move, the Auric is probably your best option. Now, I will say, I don't think it cleans quite as well as these two over here. This one on the right here I'm going to get to. This is the one I absolutely recommend. But any vacuum cleaner is better than no vacuum cleaner. Most of your Auric vacuum cleaners are going to take the style CC bags, and these are very common. They're everywhere. They come in large quantities, and the bags last 6 to 9 months in these vacuum cleaners for me most of the time. And yes. Now, if you want something that's going to clean really, really well, this is my ultimate choice here. This is a Kirby. I absolutely adore my Kirbys. I have 2 of them. This particular one is a 1998 Kirby G5. They are one of the best vacuum cleaners you can possibly buy. You can find them all over on the used market. Now, this is one thing that I will say. Now, this Auric doesn't have onboard attachments or anything, and neither does this Kirby. So you would probably want something like this yellow canister in conjunction with that Auric, or in conjunction with this Kirby. But with the Kirby, you do have attachments that come with it and the hose can go in place of the nozzle here. And yeah, so I will say that the Kirby is not practical for every household. I don't recommend it for every single household. You know, if you're limited on space, if you have to carry this up and down the stairs, this is probably 20 to 25 pounds. But it is relatively easy for me to pick up by this handle, and I'm holding it very comfortably. And it also has transmission in it. These rear wheels here, that's your transmission. And that is going to make this basically self-propelled. So when you're actually vacuuming with it, it's not going to weigh that much. It's going to honestly just float like you're just hauling butt, you know, driving a car. It's not going to feel like you're pushing anything. In addition, this has extra features like floor buffers, shampooers, you know, all kinds of attachments. You've got, you know, dusting brushes, angle tools, wands, tubes, floor brushes, all kinds of things. And the tools are very, very versatile on this. And it does take really high quality bags. And these bags are really big, they'll hold a lot. A bag on a Kirby should last, oh my gosh, in my house they last about 6 months each. And you can get a pack of 6 of those white bags for about $15 on Amazon, and they will last quite a long time. These vacuum cleaners will last a very long time. They last decades and decades. They do not break down easily. And if there is ever a problem, they can pretty easily be rebuilt. The Kirby company stands behind their products. They encourage their customers to keep their machines going for as long as possible. They don't encourage, oh, just buy a new vacuum like most manufacturers will. They really stand behind their products. This is probably the last vacuum cleaner that you would ever have to buy, honestly. But the only drawback is the weight and everything. It is all cast aluminum. And this is about as close to bulletproof as a vacuum cleaner can get. These are built like a tank. And they run forever. So, these are probably the best that you're gonna get. Now, again, for most consumers, something like this, like an upright with tools on board or a lighter machine, is gonna be a better option. But if weight is not an issue and you want something that is really going to clean well and really going to last, I will say that the Kirby is probably one of the best options that you can get. Now, these vacuum cleaners, especially the good ones, if you go and you find an old Panasonic, an old Hoover, an old something like that, that's going to last a long time. Those usually last 20, 30 years. If you take good care of them, the bagged ones will definitely last a lot longer. Just because it keeps so much out of the motor, and the less dirt and junk you have going into the motor, the longer it lasts. And so, that's just something to think about. And you're pretty much only going to have to spend like $15 to $20 a year on bags. Depending upon your household, how much dirt you have in your house, what your environment is. It just depends. But yes. And then canister vacuum cleaners. You can get canister vacuums with power heads that are much higher end than this. I'm not a big canister vacuum person, but if you are, I would look into Electrolux canisters, Miele canisters, just good ones that'll last a long time. They do last about 20, 30, 40 years, and they will serve you well for a very long time. And this is also another thing that I want to say. A vacuum cleaner is an appliance that will play one of the biggest roles in your whole house. It does way more than your washing machine or your dryer or your refrigerator or your microwave or your stove will ever do in your house. And so I think it is worth doing the research and getting a good one that's going to last you a long time and will filter a lot better for your health. But not only that, but something that will withstand constant being moved around, picked up, bumped into stuff, pulled on, moved, rolled across floors, transitions, all that stuff. Something that'll withstand that is going to really help you in the long run, because your refrigerator, your washer, your dryer, those don't get moved around and bumped into things all the time, but these do. And a lot of people don't think about a vacuum cleaner as an important investment, and I think people underestimate them quite often. They think of it like, oh, it's just a broom. It's way more than that, people. I mean, it makes everything else look like toys. These are arguably the most important appliance in your house, one of the most. If you value a clean home, if you value clean air, a good, high-quality, bagged vacuum cleaner that will filter stuff out is very important. And not only that, something that will withstand years and years and years of use, and that you can get parts for over the years, and that you can keep them going for a very long time is very important. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't really think about it that way. They just think like, oh, as long as it picks stuff up off the floor, what I can see, that's all that matters. But at the end of the day, we're not looking at that. We're looking at how is this going to hold up in my house? How much is it going to remove out of my house? The whole purpose of a vacuum cleaner is to remove filth and grit and nasty stuff out of your carpets, out of your furniture, the dry soil, the dry dust, and trap it until you can dispose of it. And like I said, once the bag is full, you just take it out, you throw it in the trash, and you put a fresh bag in, and it's out of your house. So if you think about it that way, it's very, very, very important. It's just as important, if not more important, than changing your furnace filter. If you have a good vacuum cleaner and you vacuum on a regular basis, that's going to keep your furnace filter cleaner, believe it or not. And I've heard and seen testimony of that. You know, so, you know, if you have asthma, allergies, all that stuff, a good vacuum cleaner is definitely going to help you and contain all the small particles that are irritants and that make you sick and all that. So I hope this was informative. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos. Bye-bye.